The men of Georgia have rallied together a mighty host to go ahead and invade the Balkans and expand their domain into the west. Hey, how's it going? My name is Jackie Fish and welcome back to another medieval 1212 Kingdoms Online battle. We are back with another huge one as we do have the Kingdom of Georgia with two full armies going up against, I believe, the Lithuanians and also Trier. There must be someone from Trier playing in these battles because we see them quite often. They're not in the next one though, so don't worry about that. The next one, which is going to be a really cool reinforcement battle, so make sure to keep an eye on that. It's like a Crusader battle that the secondary army for the Crusaders comes in a little bit later. It's really cool, so stick around and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, as we are getting ever closer to 120,000 subscribers. It would be amazing if we could hit that before Christmas or before the New Year's. That's kind of the goal. So if you are a fan of these online battles and you enjoy the content, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell notification button. As well as that, I'm also using a brand new sub mod in today's battle, which is a music mod, and that's, let me tell you, it's not an easy thing to do in Attila Total War. This is a new, I believe it's called, I'll link it down below in the description, but I believe it's called like Medieval Kingdoms 1212 music sub mod or something along them lines. And basically what it does is it adds in music from Empire through to Attila Total War, along with Total War Kingdoms. Shout out to that mobile game which died. So it adds in a whole ton of Total War music into Attila Total War to go ahead and give you a nice feel for the 1212, kingdoms and stuff. So you actually have music that fits the game, and it's not just Attila, because I don't think the Attila music is that great either. So yeah, it's a really cool addition, and yeah, as I said, it's not very easy whatsoever to go ahead and create music like this. So to add music into the game. So massive props to the modder DE Trooper for creating something like this, because yeah, as I said, it's not an easy task to put music into Attila Total War, so hats off to him, and hopefully we'll get more music packs in the future, which will be awesome. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. But anyway, taking a look at the battle itself as we'll get started in this one, we can see obviously they are using side to side again. The next one is a little bit different to this, so I know a few of you guys have got a little bit sick of seeing these red lines to red lines, because I think it's been in the past 4 or 5 battles. However, I believe the next one isn't like that at all, so again, it would be hopefully a little bit refreshing to see the difference. So on this side, obviously on the yellow and blue side, we have Trier and Lithuania. Trier on their front line have a bunch of these, actually Trier Pavese crossbowmen. Normally we see a lot of Genoan crossbowmen, mercenaries, as the front line for a lot of these HRE states, because they don't get access to too many crossbowmen themselves. But yeah, you'll bring their own this time. We're also getting some thick lines for Lithuania as well. They're going to have 2 pretty healthy lines of Lithuanian infantry, which are going to be forming up and raring to go. And then over on this left-hand side again, we have a lot of these spearmen. And the Lithuanian spearmen are actually pretty decent. I mean, look at them big-ass shields. They can get some work done. So we're going to be seeing them probably pushing up very soon as well, as both sides get closer and closer. The archery engagement obviously is kicked off, and you can see that Georgia are going to be using their dismounted archers to go ahead and hammer away at the crossbowmen of Trier. And these guys are going to be doing a great job because they're dismounted knights, basically. As I know Georgia get a bunch of horse archers, so these are basically dismounted horse archers. Their bowmen are really highly skilled, but these are also good warriors as well, who can do a lot of damage to the enemy. So they're going to be shooting away and then falling back a little bit. They've obviously got the range over the crossbowmen, so they want to get out of range of them, fall back a little bit, and then re-engage them as the battle does get closer and closer. We're also seeing a bit of a different move here now, that we're finally starting to see the players kind of dealing with this cavalry engagement. So even though there are a thin line of spearmen right here, they've managed to put horses behind it. So if these cavalry do try and smash through the spears, which I imagine they're going to try and do, the cavalry behind that should hopefully answer and kind of counter-charge to stem the bleeding, as it were. And we're also seeing infantry in front of missiles, and you're definitely seeing the meta evolve bit by bit. I'm still looking forward to seeing when they finally do more dense lines, as I'm a big fan of that. The crossbows are going to be rallying out, and I think we're going to be getting just outshot by the archers, because these aren't just like normal archers, they're dismounted horse archers, so they're extremely strong. With them short bows as well, they're going to do so much damage, but it does look like we are getting ever closer to an infantry engagement out here. And again, yeah, these archers are just demolishing. Wow, the Georgian archers are really good. They're just destroying these ducal bowmen who are very heavily armored. So, yeah, look at that archer fire. That's just a lot of missiles coming down. And here we go, the first bit of infantry engagement already kicking off. Normally, we're kind of stuck with these big skirmish phases. We've also got, what, a cavalry engagement in the center right here? Yeah, we do get a cavalry engagement. Nice here by the Georgians. They're already proving their worth in this battle as they charge forward right onto the Bavese. And there's no cavalry here for Trier to really answer this. So they're just going to be running amok whilst their archers unload on the archers. However, these crossbowmen, they must have been in a tight formation because they barely took any casualties in that charge. They lost like 10 men to a full-on cavalry charge. Back to the infantry engagement though, you can see it is very, very thick and fast. Georgia is definitely a very, very cool faction in 1212. It's a faction that I would not mind doing a campaign of, because I feel like they kind of have the best of both worlds. They kind of have, you know, a hint of Western units in there. Obviously, they're, you know, a lot further east than, you know, the Balkans across the sea. But still, like, they have kind of like a flavor of the West, but obviously a lot of, like, Eastern love as well. So, and you can already see the strength of their archers, and they obviously have macemen as well, which are, again, great armor-piercing units, with the amount of missile fire coming in as well. You've also got some Italian mercenaries here as well. And I really hope that does show that, like, a lot of the Italian states kind of sell mercenaries around the campaign map. Because Italy's kind of at this period is known quite heavily for a lot of their mercenaries, as it is such a tight balance, you know, with the Shadow Kingdom and stuff like that. There's a tight balance of, you know, not one power really taking control. So, you know, a lot of their soldiers do go elsewhere to fight. And it's just kind of cool to see that. Over on the right-hand side, anything else crazy? Just more cavalry wrapping around. And again, these thin lines being exploited, as we do have these horsemen running in. And there's no cavalry over here to stop that. So this unit of Trier Knights is just running amok right now. They're going to be running into these Georgian heavy infantrymen. Again, these units look amazing. Look at them. They're so cool. Really, really good looking infantry. I love their swords as well. Their swords look great. And the cavalry from Trier are going to be getting killed bit by bit. However, they've definitely output a lot of damage. I mean, look at that. Just a couple horses in the rear does so much damage. It really, really does. This fighting is pretty hectic. We're going to be getting a unit of Lithuanian cavalry. Going to be trying to just thread the needle, I assume. Make it through this gap, maybe. Or maybe just come around the side and rear charge into the back of these Italian mercenaries. Yeah, it's exactly what they're going to be doing. But these guys are tightly packed. And because they're tightly packed, you can just see how poor that charge was. Oh, yeah, some Cossack cavalry as well. That's kind of cool. See that Russian influence coming into the Lithuanian roster. The archers are almost out for Georgia as well, so that's going to kind of be a breath of fresh air for the Lithuanians. I hope the music's not too loud for you guys. Apologies if it is. This is the first time I'm using the music pack, so I need to kind of feel it out. But hopefully my voice is still loud enough to the music. Maybe I can turn down the music just a little bit. But I obviously want you guys to be able to hear it quite vividly because it is so awesome. So here we go. The Lithuanians are going to be advancing forward their main two battle lines. And as I said, it's great to see that they do have two battle lines. You know, it's kind of just adding a bit more depth and flavor to the battle as well, having these. But I can't believe how well these Georgian horse archers have done, dismounted horse archers. They have just demolished the Lithuanian archers. Now, granted, it's not like the Lithuanians were using for these, but even still, like, they have just chopped them down to size. They really, really have. And these guys all couple as good infantry units as well, you know. These are, at the end of the day, dismounted cavalrymen, so they'll do a really good, decent job in melee as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a few of these guys being pushed through some gaps and stuff. I mean, there obviously is some reinforcements back here. We have the Ducal heavy axemen. I imagine that's what the archers are reforming up to shoot at. I don't know if they're in range here. They are in range, so I imagine we're going to see a volley of like 6 archers going off on these dudes right here. And they're going to need to go in very, very soon as well, because it seems like these spearmen... Oh, yeah, look at that volley. Oh, they're all focusing down one unit. Yeah, these axemen are like, shit, charge into battle. You can see them rallying in, these brave, brave axemen. Just getting cut down. I mean, there is like 7 units of archers shooting them, so it's to kind of be expected. Wow, that one unit is just being deleted. And you can see the Axemen just desperately trying to get into combat. And unfortunately, this is actually really big. Because, like, the one point here that is really losing is this point right here. And that's the one unit that did not make it into combat. So because that unit of Axemen got focused down, we're actually going to see the Georgian army just smash through here. And there's nothing really to stop them besides this cavalry. Which is actually really, really well played there by the Georgians, because they managed to kill the center point, the one point that was breaking for the Lithuanians. And now they can just throw their cavalry through this gap. They can throw anything through that they want through this gap. So that was just really, really cool. And also, I really like in these battles how we do have these engagements like this, where like the rest of the battle is kind of still skirmishing. They're like harassment with cavalry on the front lines and stuff. But we're getting a full-on assault right here. It kind of makes it feel more like a proper battle, where you don't just get everything fighting in sync. It's kind of bit by bit. And they kind of determine the battle as well. I really love scenarios that do that, you know. Whether it's the center engaging, other positions engaging. It's just cool seeing, you know, parts of the battle being fought out. And that dictates how the rest of the battle does start. And that's why I really want to see, like, dense lines, compact infantry blocks and stuff like that. Because that way you can kind of commit reserves to certain battles, and you can kind of have much more of a feel of like an evolving battlefield, rather than just two sides smashing into each other and whoever wins, wins. But Georgia have done great with the use of these Italian mercenaries. They have proven that they are definitely a hard nut to crack, and I'm surprised we're not seeing these guys exploiting this gap. I guess they don't want to let this cavalry come through, which again is not a bad idea. They don't really need any more help here, and if the Lithuanian cavalry can get through, I know for a fact that these knights are pretty decent. They're going to be charging in. You cowards, you coward Lithuanian spearmen, as they flee for their lives. They're going to be going after these guys. But again, this is kind of a little bit scary. The Lithuanian cavalry has to be careful. They have no infantry support whatsoever. So I kind of feel like if I was the Georgians right now, I'd want this engagement to kick off. And here we go. The other engagement is getting ever closer to being fought as the two sides do get closer and closer. I like as well we're seeing Trier coming in to support the Lithuanian flank right here. Yeah, I mean, I would say this. As long as this Georgian cavalry is careful, they should be able to deal with this Lithuanian cavalry fairly nicely. Oh, they're bringing up more horse as well. So yeah, ideally they just want to engage in this fight. There we go. Smash of the cavalry, because the Georgian cavalry isn't extremely heavily armored, but they're, you know, they've got better armor, I'd say, than maybe the Lithuanians do. But they've just got so many more horses. I mean, look at this big bulk of horses being brought up. The Lithuanians kind of know that they're in trouble. They're curving in this side. And also we're having these guys bringing up more cavalry as well. So this fight is going to really dictate the battlefield. However, do keep this in mind as well. The Lithuanians have a second battle line that they can commit over here to help protect this big overlap that the Georgians now have. Battle line still not committing right here. We do have the Trier pikemen though closing in the distance, which is good to use these guys. I'm surprised that the pikemen haven't been shot at much whatsoever. Oh, it looks like they need another order to actually attack, because they're just resting their pikes on the shoulders. There you go. They're starting to engage right now over here. Oh, that guy getting just slaughtered on the ground. Brutal stuff. But over here, you know, just more spearmen ready to receive. Oh my god, these guys should just dive into battle from Trier. They'd rip apart this Georgian line very, very quickly if they do just throw themselves in. I mean, just look at this battlefield right now as well. It's just insane. I love it. Absolutely love it. I'm also really excited to see what this Georgian heavy infantry can do in this battle. They do look so awesome, so I'm hoping that they're just going to rip through the more militia forces of Trier. And if anything, we should see these guys charge in and cut these guys down, because Trier, I imagine it's the same person playing Trier every single time. Because they normally go for this similar strategy of like a light militia front line and then bring up a lot more elite troops afterwards. So yeah, if I was Georgia, I would just rush these guys down, try and break them. We did also just try and get another cavalry charge here, and this cavalry needs to be quicker because you're just letting them through the lines. Look at them, they're just standing there. No, I mean, these battles are very difficult to kind of micromanage when you've got this many units, but this cavalry needs to be immediately on them, and they're just gonna get a rear charge, and this could have been so easily avoided. That's why you have the cavalry here, and unfortunately, this is going to do so much damage. It really, really is. That's going to just slaughter them. A rear charge. They get no bracing, and they can just get out of there without taking too many casualties because everyone's on the ground. And the cavalry just comes in a little bit too late. If that cavalry was quicker, they could have easily have amended that gap in the battle line. It's just a shame that they couldn't really do better. Yeah, the Georgians have completely dominated this left flank, though. Completely wrapped around. They're getting their infantry in. More Italian mercenaries being paid, earning their keep in this battle. Fighting away against the heavy Lithuanian infantry. See the distance. You can see the Trier cavalry just running amok right now. More infantry being thrown in against the Lithuanian shield walls. They're stationary, but they'll hold. The cavalry advantage has now massively gone in favor of this Georgian quadrant, and they're going to be running around the side and I imagine causing havoc. You can see 4 more units of infantry being deployed. But also, the Georgian front line is looking kind of like it's dwindling a little bit. We do also get some of the Ducal Axemen in, so they've managed to find some good engagements for the Axemen without them getting shot to pieces. But even still, it's not like they're fighting, spearmen or something. They're still fighting some pretty decent infantry. Even though these guys are of the early period, they're 13th century. But so are the Ducal Axemen, so it's a good way. If you don't know in the mod itself what the game is going to have, or is it cavalry engagement? Yeah, this is what we need to see. We need to see preemptive charges, and that's why I kind of feel like having lanes, like having gaps in your line for your cavalry to quickly get into the center part of the battlefield might not be a bad idea. And this is perfect. If they can wrap around, they'll keep going, and then charge in, or go after the Axemen. Either one's a good idea. I would have maybe tried to kill the cavalry just because it causes so many issues. But another charge into these Axemen is not bad either. Try and rout these guys. Definitely not a bad idea whatsoever. But as I was saying, like having these gaps in your battle line so cavalry can quickly get out into the center and kind of silence it, it might be a good idea. Obviously, it leaves you vulnerable to them charging, but also your infantry is always so dense because you're kind of making them smaller. So strategies like that could actually be a really good idea. I definitely would not be surprised. But yeah, like, as I said, like we're going to get some really, really cool 12-12 battles going forward with stuff like that being implemented. As I said, the next one should be a reinforcement battle where we have, I think it's Antioch and the Crusaders. The Crusaders are fighting and they have to hold for like 10-15 minutes until Antioch can really turn up. Yeah, I was going to say, are they going to charge these Italian mercenaries? No, they're going to go right into the side of the Georgians. And again, that cavalry is just a second too late. They get in now and they'll kill a few of these guys retreating, but just not enough. They need to try and like cut these guys down. Because knights, in these battles, the knights have just proven their worth time and time again. And I feel like the Georgians need to engage this militia front line, because they could kill it so quickly, and then that would just give them so much more space. I mean, look at that. Look at these foot knights up here. Yeah, I just don't see why Trier should engage this. I mean, I guess I actually kind of need to. I guess that's actually a good point. The Georgians don't really need to do anything because Lithuania is getting encircled right now. They're getting picked apart bit by bit. And if, the Georgians can just hold their battle line, then they'll be more than okay. Does seem like, though, that Trier have done a big assault right here. Balance of power is not in their favor either, in favor of Trier, even though the balance of power is very much. And again, this cavalry, man, is just so slippery. You need something over here to silence this, because once again, we're going to get another rear charge, which will just take out another, like, half of the infantry. We're just going to see that go flying into the back. Going out nice and wide, getting around, and we're just going to rear charge either on these two infantry, probably to make a gap. I would not be surprised. Yeah, where's it going? I mean, we'll follow this. Yeah, it's going to go there. Luckily, some infantry has, kind of noticed this, but they're just going to go for these guys, right? Why have they not? They're going to reform up there and then just charge into this big... Finally, we're starting to see infantrymen turn around to try and stop this. Good. And that's going to at least force these guys to move somewhere else. And hopefully we can get some more cavalry over or something. Yeah, we're getting one unit of cavalry dispatched back, but honestly, maybe we need a few more. And nice, I managed to actually get this, The micro is also, hard on both sides. It's not just on the side defending. And we're getting to see the Georgians just cut through the militia swordsmen of Trier. However, they are now bringing up their more elite knightmen. You can see these guys are the 15th century, so they're about 200 years ahead of these Georgian swordmen. The militia will be, sliced down. But the other Trier infantry should be doing a good job. You can see they're actually bringing up their reserve line now. They've seen the militia have kind of done their job at tiring out and holding. Oh, we're also seeing a lot of Georgian cavalry over here as well. A good charge there, but they're also on the pikemen. Wow, the pikemen are going to be able to kill some good horses. We're also going to be seeing some cavalry in their wedge formation get a side charge off onto Trier. However, Trier do answer back with a small charge of their own. Now, obviously, these knights are going to be much more heavily armored than, say, the Knights of Georgia. But the cavalry has been kind of murdered in the center, and now there's more cavalry support there. They need this flank to really kick off as best as they can. The archers are focusing down the cavalry. The infantry is trying to break their way through the Lithuanian line. Balance of power is still extremely even as we go into kind of the last parts of this battle. This one's going to shape up to be an extremely close battle. And there we go, more of a battle line is breaking, but these frontal units were really just like a vanguard, or a rear guard, I should say, more than a vanguard. It's like the opposite. They were more just kind of a holding force to keep the Georgians at bay whilst the rest of their army reform. And now they've managed to get 4 units of extra infantry over here. That's going to be huge. We're also getting a big push right here as well, as more of the Lithuanian cavalry gets a rear charge. But they're also going to then get countercharged. However, then Trier are going to come in and countercharge the units countercharging. Oh my god, they just got demolished by the cavalry from Trier. That unit just disappeared. Wow, deadly stuff. And that's going to break all this Georgian infantry as well. Once again, cavalry superiority really proving its worth. I think what would be fun as well for a battle is having no cavalry whatsoever, or only having tier 1 cavalry, so like the beginning horsemen. That'd be kind of fun. So I feel like a lot of time as well, these battles are dominated by the cavalry engagements, just because that's the way the players play. You know, they are really, really strong, and I feel like they should be strong. Maybe they need to be nerfed a little bit to not be as strong as they are. But I am definitely an advocate of having really strong knights, especially as well. These are like the best cavalry in the game, right? These are the cavalry you get after like 300 turns of the campaign. So you kind of expect them to be very, very, you know, to pay off. Oh no. Oh no, oh no. Between a rock and a hard place. Ooh. That unit is just I bet it's gonna be down to like 20 men by the end of it. Oh my god, look at that number just drop. 50, 48, 45. Yeah, and then the pikemen will clean them up as well. Brutal. We can start to see Trier coming out on top of this battle now. That cavalry just demolishing. So as I said, yeah, it'd be fun to see if they just brought the tier 1 horsemen to the battle. So that I imagine that cavalry does die fairly quick. So the players still have cavalry, but it'll be much weaker, you know. The Georgian flag being held high. But I just don't know how much longer it will be. But as I said, the balance is still extremely even. If the Georgians can break here, which they are slowly doing, they are enveloping the Lithuanians. We're also seeing the general for Georgia as well, engaging against more of this Lithuanian cavalry. I think as well, because the knights have golden chevrons as well, as like a huge bonus to them, they are getting more spearmen coming over to help. And the cavalry is also being caught a little bit here. We're actually seeing some of the Grand Duke's bodyguard, the Lithuanian general here, being cut off by more infantry and chased down. So if they can kill the... Who's that? Yeah, the Lithuanian general has now died. That might be catastrophic for their assault. However, there's not really a lot of infantry kind of engaging against the Lithuanians. We haven't really seen the Lithuanians being challenged really whatsoever on the front line. There's a few engagements here and there, but their morale is probably going to hurt a little bit. Yeah, but Trier have just absolutely demolished the Georgian left flank here. They've wrapped around, their knights have just, you know, completely hammered away. And here we go. More infantry being brought in as well. We're seeing elected men-at-arms thrown in as well. these guys, these men-at-arms, we haven't really watched them much this battle, but I imagine now that they're stuck in the rear of the Georgians, there's just nowhere for them to escape to. Look at that. They're completely surrounded. Let's get a nice little zoom in on that. Nowhere for them to run whatsoever. You can see a few flags going up here and there, more cavalry being thrown in, pikes in the distance. Does look like a very, very cool battle though. I love the shields of Georgia. Maybe they just kind of lack a bit of maybe they just lack a bit of really heavy infantry. We'll take a look over on the Lithuanians. Oh my god, the Lithuanians are surrounded! Trier, where are you? Yeah, and they're getting some good charges off on the general's bodyguard of Trier as well. Oh my god, if they kill the Trier general, that could completely turn up how this battle ends. They've killed the Trier general as well! Wow, that is big, big news. That's going to be a big morale hit. And I don't know, how much cavalry does Trier and the Lithuanians have left? Almost none. I mean, Georgia have a couple units here and there, but not too many. Okay, well, this battle has definitely just got interesting. We did see a little charge out there by the Lithuanians, hearing that the Trier general has now gone down. They are rallying out versus these blocks of, you know, Italian mercenaries, which are going to be so hard to break. Condensed blocks of infantry. More spearmen clashing as well. And as you can see, a gap has appeared, and I'm sure that Georgia is going to exploit this, whether it's just charge back here, charge round. It's going to envelop something. But now, you know, luckily the Trier general died a little bit later on, so now it's really just up to them to get their asses over to this battle before the Georgians, you know, can kill the Lithuanians. As long as the Lithuanians can hold out for as long as possible, they'll be okay. And we're also about to see some of these dismounted horse archers get stuck in. As I said, they are going to be pretty decent units. You know, they're not going to be as good as, say, sword infantry. They'll definitely do okay. Oh, this general trying to be caught. The Georgian general is extremely low, and that's not a bad plan right here. There you go. They actually managed to kill one of the Georgian generals right there. Just managed to clip him, and I imagine cut his horse down as he tried to make his way through the gap. But they did also get a nice rear charge off there on the dismounted axemen. Have these dismounted axemen here? You can't even see them. They're all on the ground. The Georgian general coming in there and killing that unit and breaking that. Some more charges like that. Yeah, they've completely enveloped basically the entirety of these battle lines. A rear charge right here would be perfect. But Trier is formed up and they are on their way over to the other battle. And you can see there's a few like pockets of sword infantry here by Georgia, just trying to slow them up as much as possible. The balance of power is saying that Trier have a huge advantage going into this, but sometimes the balance of power is not as always as clean cut as it is, and you can see, I think if we start to see a lot more of these Lithuanians breaking, then that'll quickly go ahead and turn the table of battle. Are they going to get through? No, they don't. They actually frontally charge the unit of Lithuanians, and they go on to the next charge as well. Very, very strong. How many kills did that charge get? Because it's going to need to get big kills. Doesn't seem like it was enough, if any. Right there, yeah, a couple, like 20, 30. That's actually pretty good. Numbers, yeah, morale is still sticking around, but that's the thing. As long as the morale stands, that's all that matters. And Trier already starting to turn up with their first wave of reinforcements. And they're not, you know, they're not joke infantry either. You know, you've got some really good men-at-arms being chucked into this battle now as well. If we take a look at the numbers, we can see over 4,000 men left for Trier and Lithuania. And 2,300 for Georgia. God, if they can just clear this up, then they still have the cavalry advantage. They just need to quickly kill these guys, and they are doing it bit by bit, but I think Trier are just going to make their way over here and reinforce. We also have 3 Georgian blocks of infantry actually kind of enveloped. The Lithuanians are enveloped, but also so are the Georgians, especially now that more infantry is turning up as well. See these guys defending. There's actually a horse. I like to think that this is the general. This is the Trier general that the Lithuanians are fighting over right now. That'd be a pretty cool scenario. Over here as well, we have one brave unit of Georgian sword infantry holding back multiple units and actually almost routing a unit from Trier. Again, it's like stuff like this is just buying the block of infantry time to win. And they're so close to doing, but I think these dismounted Elector Knights are turned up now and they're going to, reinforce the gaps. However, if they could just route this big bulk, like cause a mass rout here, route these guys, turn round, then maybe they stand a chance. But I think at least these kind of positions, there you go, that's routed as well. That's going to allow them to bring another 4 units into the battle. This side is routed here as well. Yeah, we can see men coming around the flanks. They've even left a unit of crossbows back here as well, which would probably be pretty valuable. Unit of Pavis. Yeah, they got men routing every single way. So I imagine the Georgians will still form up and try one last, assault. Actually, what's the name we got to? Oh, these are the Italian mercenaries. Okay, cool. It'd be kind of nice if we got a different picture. I don't know if they can import their own pictures, but like have a different picture for like heavy axemen and like men at arms, and then having a picture for halberds. That'd be a nice way to quickly deter what's happening. The Italian pike wall though, holding its own until it gets completely enveloped by Trier turning up. You can see a couple units of infantry, so they're kind of wrapped around. The Lithuanians were completely surrounded at one point, but now all of a sudden it's completely changed up and the Georgians are now going to get completely enveloped and having to fight back to back for their last stand. Once again, I mean, look at this right here. They're trying their best, but the numbers just are not in their favour. Another cool scenario could be defend the general. One side basically builds a box around the general, and it's up to the other side. As soon as they kill the general, the battle's over. I think something like that would be really, really cool. But without like any cheese tactics to kill. So basically they have to try and fight their way through to the general through like layers of enemies. And then when the general's dead, they just, concede the battle and it's over. The army routes, seeing their loyal king die, like killed on the battlefield, and everyone routes. That'd be like a cool scenario. Just stuff like that I think would be really, really interesting. And as I said, we do have a reinforcement battle on the way, which is always exciting. Maybe like King of the Hill could be a cool battle as well. Have this massive battle. It'd be really nice if there were free-for-alls in the Attila Total War. That'd be really, really dope. Unfortunately, free-for-alls are not a thing, but that would still be cool nonetheless. Trier now breaking this. Now that this side is broken up, you're going to see just the entire Georgian army routing as men come in from every single side. There's only one escape from this death pit, and that's going to be over and throughout the back. Flee for your lives as quickly as possible, men of Georgia. The day is over. The day is lost. Trier have claimed victory, and they have repelled this eastern invasion. Yeah, many men are now routing. They've got nothing left from this battle. As you can see, a few pockets of resistance once again, but you've even got more, men coming around. Elector men at arms, great shock infantry. Look at that devastating charge there by the men-at-arms just flying into battle. Just decapitating the last remaining Georgians on the field of battle. Yeah, there's nothing left for them. So GG to both players, you can see, but I think the Georgians had put up a great fight. That cavalry, we just got through the back lines too many times, and I think that hurt them. Unfortunately, from the Trier heavy knights were just too strong. So that's why I said I would like to see everyone play with a tier 1 horseman or not. Yeah, look at that, 800 kills. How does this keep on happening? This needs to be addressed, or like I don't know. I feel like, as I said, it's just for the thin lines, and if the players just make their lines really thick, this won't happen. because there'll be no gaps for the cavalry to run through. So, you know, maybe in the next couple ones we'll see them change that up. Also, this unit of men-at-arms, 434 kills is very, very impressive for infantry. Over on the Lithuanians as well, we can see that they were more of a holding force. They definitely took the punishment. But also their cavalry, you know, 254 kills on that one. These guys kind of suffered. Yeah, it just seems like the European knights are just really, really deadly. Over on Georgia as well, we can see all of their infantry getting a couple hundred kills here and there, and their archers doing a great job. Their cavalry, though, just could not stand up to the Western horsemen. And then finally, the other one, again, the archers, 300 kills on these guys, 365 on them. The Italian mercenary blocks, 300 kills apiece, not bad either. And then the cavalry, again, being very disappointing for Georgia. I think a lot of people were probably thinking they would do better than they did, and unfortunately, they just could not get themselves into favourable engagements. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this battle. If you did, be sure to drop a like and a comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.